Hello, and what's up with you, my favorite listener? I hope you've been keeping well. You're tuned into the Epic Personal Trainer podcast, the show that helps new personal trainers plan, build, and grow an epic personal training business. I am your host, Mark, bringing session number 14 to you, which is going to be about the 3 ways to grow a personal training business. And actually, this applies to any business, not just personal training. Now, the 3 ways to grow your business is a concept I learned from a guy called Jay Abraham, who, if you didn't know, is a marketing genius. I'll put a link to his stuff in the show notes. He has an amazing amount of free content on his site that you can check out. Now, I listen to podcasts every single day. And early on in all this, I discovered an amazing podcast with Jay Abraham. It was on the Tony Robbins podcast. And there were 2 episodes I found which showed me how good his work is. And, my mind was blown. He helped me realize that there are no kind of 100% set in stone rules when it comes to all of this. And quite often thinking differently and outside of the box will really benefit you. He talks all the time about taking ideas and systems and methods from one industry and applying it to another, which, is so simple, but it's the simple things that are really genius as well, because it's always the things that are overlooked. So while most of the time people are trying to be overly clever and they just end up sort of complicating things and making it more difficult. Now, if I can find that podcast, it shows how his mind works and the type of things that are possible. I'll add links to it in the show notes as well. Anyway, one of his big concepts, which there are many, but this one, probably one of the simplest ones, is the 3 ways to grow a business. And I wanted to go over this and give examples of what you can do, which is specific to personal trainers. So I'll list them out now before we go into each one separately. So number 1 is to increase the number of customers. Number 2, increase the transaction size. And number 3 is to increase the purchasing frequency. So let's go through these one by one. So the first one is to increase the number of customers, which is pretty self-explanatory. If you have 5 clients paying you 20K per month, that's going to equal 100,000 rupees or 1 lakh per month. If you increase that to 10 clients paying you 20K per month, that's going to double your business. So your business has grown. Pretty straightforward, right? Well, it's easier said than done. To increase your business this way, you'll need to get new clients. That requires some level of marketing, systems, processes, referrals, all those kinds of things to try and make those changes. You can't just flick a switch and make it happen and have more clients overnight. But how to get there is for another day and another session, as it's outside the scope of this one. Now, the thing is as well, you can only go so far with adding more and more clients if you're an in-person offline trainer, since there are only so many hours in a day. You're going to reach a limit pretty quickly. So let's say you are now at your maximum amount of clients that you can handle. What can you do now to grow your business? Well, you can try and find more ways to be able to take on even more customers or clients. Maybe you can start by growing a team of trainers to help service these new clients and keep growing by increasing customers because now you've got people to help you. But the other option you have is to increase the transaction size, which is number 2 on the list. An easiest way to do that is to raise your prices. Now, if your calendar is always full, then the basic rule of supply and demand is as good a reason as any to make the jump and charge more. You may get a couple of clients drop off due to the price increase, but it will free up slots for others that will see value in what you offer. So the level that you are earning shouldn't drop, or if it does, it won't be by much, as the losses from the clients that stop training with you is going to be made up by the clients that stayed, that still see value in what you do and are now paying more. So as you fill up your empty slots on your calendar, you will then be growing your business to more than what it was previously. But, keep in mind that increasing your price isn't the only way to increase the transaction size. So you have things like upsells and packages and bundles and a whole lot more. So an upsell, for example, is when you have a client purchase something that is more expensive or in addition to what they originally wanted. So for personal trainers, a great upsell is to take a client that wants to buy maybe 2 sessions a week with you or 8 in a month and upsell them now to training with you 3 sessions a week or 12 in a month. So this makes the purchase or the transaction size much higher than before. Some trainers might sell their training and nutrition separately. So by bundling these together for a new client, you will now have two services instead of one, which also means that you can charge a higher price, increasing the transaction size. So have a think, is there more ways of increasing the transaction size for your client or your potential clients based on the services or products that you personally currently offer? Now, the third way to grow your business is to increase the buying frequency. So that is to have people buy from you more often. Now, there's a couple of different ways to look at this. And, the funny thing is people always try and sell clients on longer term agreements when it's actually earning you less money overall. But I do understand why. And I wanted to go over and try to explain this. So let's just switch over and take a gym membership, as that's something that we can all really relate to. So many gyms will always try and sell a potential new member an annual membership. Now, the reason they do this, either knowingly or unknowingly, is because they should know that an annual membership is a greater price than the lifetime value of a member. So the lifetime value, or LTV, is the average amount of money a client or member is worth over a certain period of time. So that period of time is the average time a member stays a member at the gym. So if your average client stays for 3 months and is worth on average 20,000 rupees over those 3 months, it makes sense that you sell an annual membership for 30,000 because you've had a payment more than your average of 20,000. So it's a 10K bump. Now, think about it like this. If you have a really good retention, and selling single months works out better. If your gym charges even 3K per month over 12 months, that will come to 36K, which is more than both, assuming that costs remain the same. But that means that now you have actually a really good retention rate, which means your average member actually stays longer than the 3 months, and your lifetime value is actually higher. So you'd have to recalculate that. But in an ideal world, each client would pay a monthly rate and stay for a really long time with lots of renewals. Now, if they do that, the lifetime value is really high, and the business would be earning the most money from each client. So it's all about balance at the end of the day. But the second part to this, in whatever way you go for a personal trainer, the best way to keep the buy-in frequency high is to make sure that your clients are turning up consistently for their sessions. The more they turn up, the better the results, the more they enjoy it, so the more they come. It also means that because they are getting results and enjoying things, they're going to renew at the earliest possible opportunity, and they will stay for longer. So that means that they are increasing, or at least maximizing, the frequency of the payments and the average lifetime of a client, and also the value you get from each client. Oh, and in addition to all of this, they will tell their friends and their family, giving you testimonials and referrals and helping you grow your business in other ways by increasing the number of clients that you have. So you see how all these are kind of linked and one can benefit from the other. I told you Jay Abraham was a genius. So now you know the 3 ways to grow your business and use it as a personal trainer. So remember, 1, increase the number of customers. 2, increase the transaction size. And 3, increase the purchasing frequency. Now you can hopefully come up with other ways of achieving these 3 things. But I've given you a little bit of information on how you can simply and kind of relatively quickly do it right now. Now, if you could be so kind, please go ahead and leave a review on your favorite podcast listening app. It'll help us get some algorithm love so that more and more people can discover the show. And if you think this or any other episode might help a friend, a teammate or batchmate or colleague, please share it with them so that we can help as many trainers as possible to be successful. Okay, that is it from me today. I will see you in the next session. Bye for now, and take it easy.